0 fourth quarter comebacks last year, 0 game-winning drives last year. And he has all the talent there. Does Amari Cooper disappear? Yes. But he's still a top talent at wide receiver. So if he can't do that in Dallas with the star, with all this media around him, right? He's not going to be able to do it anywhere else. I
fundamentally disagree. I think
that's fair. I mean, that's the whole point of doing this.
I think Dak is a top 10 quarterback. I think he's better than 22 starting quarterbacks in the league. And I don't know who Dallas is going to get that's going to do better than him. I mean, maybe Andy Dalton fits McCarthy's system better, but it doesn't mitigate all the athletic advantages that Dak Prescott gives you. And we shouldn't punish Dak Prescott if he doesn't exactly fit Mike McCarthy's system, because it's not like Mike McCarthy's system is Vince Lombardi's or George Seifert or Bill Walsh's or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's a guy who's won 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers at the helmet.
I don't think
anything else. And I also don't agree that we may end up in a situation where Dak Prescott gets a deal like Cam Newton, but I don't think Cam Newton should have gotten that deal. I think Cam Newton is better than 15 quarterback, at least half of the league. I don't know what the heck is going on. Like pay the most important position. Pay these guys who have proven it. Cam Newton is an NFL MVP. Dak Prescott could be an NFL MVP if he's in the right system.
So Cam Newton was given a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah.
Cam Newton has a 1-year deal in New England. So I guess I just wanted to have a little bit more insight as to what either side of negotiations might be thinking about. But if Dak doesn't get a deal before the season starts, and does that mean the Dak era in Dallas is over, or do you think that the Cowboys will come in and try to outbid? I mean, it only takes one other team to drive up a negotiation, but do you think that Jerry Jones will shirk away from a negotiations with another? I mean, he doesn't seem like that kind of guy to me, but I feel that he might be willing to extend offers to other guys. I think that Dallas might have other plans perhaps in store, but I don't think that they're going to completely walk away from the table or try and bring Dak back to it if things don't go the way as planned before the season starts this year.
Jerry Jones is a businessman, right? And Dak has scorned him over the last year and a half over these contract talks. And Jerry is not happy about that. The relationship between those two is not looking good right now. Okay. Jerry has a number and he gave it to him. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, what else more does this kid want? He offered him $35 million, right? Which is very good for a quarterback. And the fact that Dak said no, I just think that's a little smug of him, because to my point that I made earlier, yes, he has all these numbers, which is great. But again, he hasn't won against top level talent. And yes, it could be the defense. It could be Jason Garrett. So who knows? Maybe Mike McCarthy changes that whole system. But Jerry Jones has a number. And I don't think this is the one time, because he was scorned by him, I think this is the one time where Jerry doesn't open up his wallet and say, like, okay, I'm going to keep you here. He's pissed off at him. And you could see that. And he's not going to get a deal because the timeline has already passed. So he's playing on the franchise tag this year, and that's it. And then these conversations are going to start up again, towards the end of the season.
Well, I get why Dak would be pissed at that offer, because they paid everybody else before him. They paid they paid Amari Cooper, they paid Zeke Elliott, they paid some of their offensive linemen, and they left,
which are
and
deserving.
But they left the most important piece of that team until the very end.
I see that's where I disagree. Dak is not the most important piece of that offense. Jerry, since the Cowboys have been revitalized over the last couple of years, they have invested in the offensive line and the running game. That's the most important cog. That's what drives the Dallas Cowboys over these last 7 years since they've been really good, right? You drafted Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith.
But then they hired the wrong coach, though, if that's what they
had too much. Jerry had too much faith in Jason Garrett. He should have been fired 3 years ago, if we're being completely honest. But
So then they might be getting caught with their pants down because they just let Jason Garrett basically run the drafting for this team or whoever's in their draft room. Not Jerry Jones, but his son or his nephew, whatever. I don't give a shit about that family. But anyway,
look, the guys that they've drafted are excellent. I mean,
they're excellent, but I'm talking about for a style that does not suit the coach they just hired. So
right,
I'm kind of at a loss. Like if they're so dependent on a quarterback, I mean, within McCarthy's system, unless they told McCarthy, they laid down the law, they said, we run the football here. And McCarthy's like, I just want a job. Then I don't really understand, like philosophically, like, I just feel like there's this clash here that's not really like that. The pieces aren't really adding up to me. Unless McCarthy comes in and is like, I don't give a shit who plays quarterback. I'm going to get you the points you need. And then as long as I got this guy in the backfield, we're going to be fine because they can't double team this wide receiver because we got that wide receiver. And then any quarterback who's going to take snaps here is going to be able to get the ball out to anybody else on this field because it's just going to be, we got so much talent and so much protection. If that's what he's pitching, I get it. That means they're going to take some flyer on some kid out of school. If they do so badly, maybe it's going to be Lawrence, but I highly doubt the Dallas Cowboys are going to be that shit this year to where they're going to be in a position to get that kind of quarterback. I don't know what the quarterback class is going to look like come, the draft day, but I mean, they have to have other options in the back of their mind because not giving this guy some money, before, obviously they tried to give him some money, but
well, maybe one of the options is Andy Dalton, and I can understand how that would piss off Dak Prescott if you spend money,
right,
even a modest amount of money to bring in Andy Dalton. Because what does that mean? I mean, you're bringing in an established guy who has brought a team to the playoffs, who has been 13-3, 14-2 on the Bengals. Yeah. I mean, that's just saying that we don't like. It's not saying that we don't trust you, Dak. It's saying like, don't mess with us because we'll just go with this guy. And we'll rescind our offer. They didn't do it, but like maybe this is the last year because now we have this guy. And maybe, Jerry Jones has the hubris to think that, we got Dak Prescott in a steal when we drafted him. We can just go get another Dak Prescott at this point, which I don't think they can. I think that's a lot. I think they struck. I think just like the Seahawks struck gold when they got Russell Wilson, I think the Cowboys struck gold when they got Dak Prescott.
Yeah. So I mean, Matt's high on Dak. Mike is not so much, and I guess this is kind of just reflecting like the two different, sides of the negotiation table right now.
I just don't know who's better. Who's better.
I'm not high on him in regards of like a football contract standpoint. Like I just don't think he's worth that amount of money for having essentially really one amazing season against mediocre talent. Okay. From a fantasy standpoint, I think Dak is great. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback, potentially, especially in a Mike McCarthy system. I think the Dallas Cowboys are in a situation right now where they can't afford anything more than the $35 that they're $35 million. That'd be great. $35 million that they're offering him because they've paid so many other guys and they want to keep that core intact. So if they're thinking we don't have to pay Dak, we can pay if Dak put up these numbers, all these big numbers that he put up with the great offensive line that we built with Ezekiel Elliott that we have in the backfield, we can have.
And there are other competent guys that you could put in that position to do the same.
Exactly. Well, and guess what? We're paying Andy Dalton $3 million right now. So, and now we could build more around that. I could pay some of the other guys to keep this around. And Jerry is watching what the NFL is doing right now. He's watching what Cleveland's doing. He's watching what Kansas City is doing. Okay. You draft a quarterback young, you build the talent around them. I honestly believe that Jerry's gearing up for a reset. I think he's going to say goodbye to Dak after this year.
I'm just a little concerned though. Well, I'm not concerned. I hope the Cowboys lose every game, but what I'm thinking is like, you have this window that with every year and literally with every game with a running back, the window just shuts, a little bit more. And obviously everybody keeps talking about Ezekiel Elliott, not just with this offense that's coming in with Mike McCarthy, but just as far as football goes in general, that window is closing. And you drafted this awesome line, but the line doesn't last forever. The running back isn't going to last forever. The defense has been dog shit. So, I mean, what are they basically saying? we'll see what happens with Zeke, and then we'll try and like rebuild again, or because like the defense is such a big question mark apparently right now that you don't have a championship caliber team. It just doesn't seem that way. Like you have to have balance on both sides of the ball, and you don't have it right now, at least as what last year has shown us. So, I mean, and Zeke, everybody keeps saying regressing to the mean. He's not going to have the same type of numbers. He's not going to be that same kind of player. So what are either you pay a guy now and you think Dak is the guy, or you're just like, I don't know, maybe this year we'll, have a run and that's it.